Individual differences in second language acquisition. Personality refers to individual differences in characteristics patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. A number of personality characteristics have been proposed as likely to affect second language learning, based on the assumption that some features of the learner's personality might encourage or inhibit second language learning by enhancing certain facets of language learning while impeding others. A second language learner will make choices of strategies and skills according to their personality. There are a number of personality characteristics that may affect second language learning, such as extroversion, inhibition, anxiety, self-esteem, and risk-taking. Each of the above aspects is discussed in the following sections. First is extroversion. It is often argued that an extroverted person is well suited to language learning. However, research does not always support this conclusion. Some studies have found that learner success in language learning is associated with extroversion such as assertiveness and adventurousness, while others have found that many successful language learners do not get high scores on measures of extroversion. Second is inhibition. It has been suggested that inhibition discourages risk-taking, which is necessary for progress in language learning. It is often considered to be a particular problem for adolescents who are more self-conscious than younger learners. It is a negative force, at least for second language pronunciation performance. Be aware that inhibition may have more influence in language performance than in language learning. Next is anxiety. Anxiety refers to learners feeling of worry, nervousness, and stress when learning a second language. There are two types of anxiety, which is trait anxiety versus state anxiety. Trait anxiety is more permanent predisposition to be anxious, while state anxiety is a type experienced in relation to some particular event or act, which can be temporary and context specific. More recent research acknowledges that anxiety is more likely to be dynamic and dependent on situations or circumstances. Moreover, anxiety can play an important role in second language learning if interferes with the learning process. It is often affected by the number of people present, the topic of conversation, and the formality of circumstances. Debilitative anxiety versus facilitative anxiety is not all anxiety is bad, and a certain amount of tension can have a position effect and facilitate learning. A learner's willingness to communicate has also been related to anxiety. Willingness to communicate can also be affected by learners' prior language learning and use experience, self-confidence, and communicative competence. Next is self-esteem. Self-esteem is hypothesized to be correlated with success in second language acquisition, especially in tasks involving oral performance. It is addressed as an important factor in successful second language. According to Brown, 1987, no successful language learning can be carried out with some degree of self-esteem, self-confidence, knowledge of yourself, and belief in your own capabilities for that activity. Last is risk-taking. Through risk-taking is useful to some extent, high risk-taking will not always yield positive results in second language acquisition. Risk-taking is the ability to make intelligent guesses. A number of studies have found that successful language learners make willing and accurate guesses. Thus, it is not always good to be impulsive. So here is the reason that create fear of risk-taking. In the classroom, it caused bad grade in the course, failed in exam, punishment, or embarrassment by oneself. While in the outside of the classroom, it can cause fear of looking ridiculous and fear of losing their identity. In conclusions, in general, the researchers does not show a single clearly defined relationship between personality traits and second language acquisition. The more difficulty is the identification and measurement of personality characteristics. Personality variables may be a major factor only in the acquisition of conversational skills, not in the acquisition of literacy or academic skills. And here's the references. Thank you.